And so I say, for this scope of work, I'm going to need $500,000. You could hear a pin drop. I'm Kathleen Griffith. I'm the founder of Build and author of Build Like a Woman, and this is how I negotiated $500,000 in 5 minutes. I was a born entrepreneur. I was always selling something, dreaming of selling something. When I was growing up, I had something called the Snack Attack Pack, which is where I'd buy candy and snacks and sell them at school for more than I bought them for. I'd rap on the loudspeaker in the morning, and that was where I first cut my teeth in business. The business that I founded is a brand consultancy. Back then I was working with a lot of big brands, which I was really proud of, but I never asked for a big budget because I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think I could charge for it. And so usually I'd propose a really small number behind my computer screen. They'd say yes, of course, who wouldn't, for practically having someone work for free. And I really wanted to create messaging that was moved to inspire and motivate and empower. Even though my business is thriving now, it was not like that early days. I felt like I was always hanging on by my fingernails, where anything like a client not paying on time or needing to caretake or even getting sick could literally send my business over the edge. I'd open my business bank account each month. It was always a flat line. I'd have just enough to pay my team, and then there would be a little bit left over for my salary. I did so much to try to pinch a penny. I remember I would shoot 12 videos in one day because I didn't have more than one shoot day. Changing outfits just crazily in the bathroom. I'd surf a friend's couch when I was visiting a new city and try to save $1 when going to the office, showing up, walking 20 blocks instead of taking a cab. I did a lot of 30-day free trials back then. I was really at my breaking point. So I got a money coach. I needed some help. And I remember in our first session, which was more like therapy, I was just sobbing to her, telling her money equals power and power equals freedom. And I felt like I didn't have any of these things. She just stopped me dead in my tracks and she said, "What if you were the rich one?" I wanted to imagine what this woman was. Like, who is this sort of woman who could demand money, command money, deliver value for money? And I remember just driving through this really upscale, fancy neighborhood and looking at all these big, beautiful houses and thinking, what if I was the woman who could walk into one of these homes and buy it all cash? So as luck would have it, I just so happened to have a new business prospect on the table for the next week. And I was determined to do things differently. Like, I planned it. What was my target number? What was my walkaway number? And I was going to negotiate live, which I had never ever done before. So it's the day of this big negotiation, and it's going to be 3 of their senior executives, including their CFO, versus me. We start doing introductions and I can hear my heartbeat in my ears. It was thumping so loud. And I just remembered this quote, "Sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of embarrassing bravery, just literally 20 seconds of insane courage, and I promise you something good will come of it." And so I say, for this scope of work, I'm going to need $500,000. $500,000. And all of a sudden, this self-doubt came roaring in. Did I ask for too much? Do they have another agency they're talking to that is better than you? And I remembered this advice that June Diane Raphael, the actress and entrepreneur, had given me, which is, when making a negotiation, do whatever you have to do to not fill the space. Pick up a pen, take a sip of water, whatever you do, just allow it to be awkward and uncomfortable. Eventually they came up for air and they started firing questions at me. So I let them know, the team backup, what the team was gonna cost, what my overhead was, and then we got to my rate. And I justified that by, it was not only my hourly rate, you were also paying for experience. You were paying for the fact that I had done this for a long time and I had a track record, and you were going to benefit from that, and I was gonna save them from costly mistakes. They went back and forth like snapping turtles, and I just stood my ground, and eventually they agreed. I ran out of that room with the $500,000 that I didn't have going in 5 minutes before. This formula changed the trajectory of of my business and life. It's something I used again and again. I just rinse and repeat it, and it's something you can too to negotiate a higher salary for yourself. Here are my top tips for negotiating as a woman. 1, identify as a filthy rich self-made woman. Create a vision for this woman you want to become. What sort of salary does she need to live the lifestyle that you want to lead? Remember, whomever has the clearest vision tends to win the day. When stepping into that room, you want to be the most prepared person in that room. You want to have done your research, you want to know your numbers backwards and forwards, inside and out, but you also want to have made contact with why you're worth it because of all your lived experience, everything that you've done, knowing everything that you can also bring to bear for who you're negotiating with. 2, go live. Always negotiate live. It is so much more powerful to be in a room with someone where someone can sense your physicality, sense how strongly convicted you are about this negotiation, and people have a really hard time saying no to you in person. And 3, welcome awkward conversations. Let them be itchy sweater uncomfortable. Let your ask hang awkwardly in the air before someone says yes or no. Remember that when you're negotiating with someone, they're doing it on behalf of their company. So it's not their personal money you're asking for, which makes it easier for them to say yes. And it's all the way personal for you. This is gonna make such a big difference in your life. Your future bank account, your kids' soccer cleats, your eat, pray, love trip will thank you. When determining your target number, you should think of a number that you want based on this lifestyle, based on who this woman is, that you want to be, that you are going to be, and then add some more. Increase it, 20%, 10%, whatever makes you uncomfortable. I want you to be in that room almost having to choke out the ask. Like you feel so uncomfortable making it because it feels like such a reach. That's when you know you're in the midst of a good negotiation. I love that question. What I always think to myself, and I play this out before any negotiation, is what's the worst thing that could happen if they say no? Okay, I keep my job, I don't make more money, I have to kind of scurry back embarrassed. Okay, I don't win that client, and so now I don't have them as a client. Like, what is truly the worst that can happen? It's so livable. And fear looms so large, but it is so livable. You know you're up to a big game when actually people start saying no to you more and more, and you get rejected more and more. So it's actually a good sign. I'd say that for starters. It doesn't feel like that at the time. But what I like to do is actually make people really uncomfortable, and I go back and ask them why, and I ask for feedback. And so if it's something quantitative, like you didn't have enough experience, or you don't have, you haven't been doing this for long enough, whatever it might be, then I know that that's what I need to do to get the job the next time or the client the next time. Get that radically honest feedback in the spirit of improvement. That's how all the greats do it. If you're still not happy, go somewhere else. There's always a stage right. There's always someone else who wants what you want. So go where you are loved. When getting ready for the day, I'm a big believer in you gotta set your foundation, because a reactive life is a horribly painful life. So I've got something called the 60-minute prime. I do it every single morning. It's got the 3 S's: sweat, silence, and sustenance. So sweat, moving your body; silence, finding 20 minutes of silence to just get still, to hear yourself think. And 3 is sustenance, so eating clean and green and just making sure that you're nourishing your body every single morning. And that really sets the tone for the day. I tell my younger self to be brave, to be outrageous, to be outspoken, to have big, lofty, who does she think she is goals, and not know how to solve them, not know how to accomplish them, but just trust in her ability to realize her abilities. For money tips and so much more, check out my new book, Build Like a Woman, the blueprint for creating a business and life you love. It uniquely combines mindset with skill set. If you want a big life, this is the book for you. It takes a long time to finally just be like, F it, I'm just gonna go for it.